Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Harakatadash, the abundance the apostles and elders who got millstone and rule well, and Shalom to the brothers doing the work carrying truth. Just wanted to, do a lesson, kind of touching on how, this whole, this situation we really have with Jake. We have like the black church, Christianity. These things are kind of, the current form of that restriction on Jake, that kind of curse, manifested on Jake, which, you go back in time, you have like Baal, you have Serapis Christus, you had different forms of worship, forms of worship for pagan gods, pagan deities, where it was more or less a form of snare, binding, destruction onto Jake. Because I read this, Deuteronomy 28:64, and the Lord Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So it says what, the Lord will scatter thee among all people. Now we're in the time of the end, where Jake's done been scattered. And this is, you go to verse 15, it will, tell you straight if you don't, it's basically about following the commandments, following the laws that were set down. And that was, the first covenant that was made, what was with, about the laws that Jake were given, and then following those, and then there was a reward, where we'll have our own land, we'll be in our own power, we'll basically be in the, the head position, and then the other nations round about us will be in the tail position. But then the flip side was, you break it, then we'll be caught, we'll basically have, these curses applied to us. And that's one of the key ones. Obviously slavery is the other key one, verse 68. Proverb and a byword, that's another one as well. That's key. But, all of these are applicable now. And that worship, what does it say? And there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And that serving other gods, that's a key component of what's keeping, Jake, bound within those curses. Because, in the present time, in the present age, Jake are looking to they're looking to Esau, the so-called white man. They're looking to him for salvation through his system, through his monetary system, his legal system, is trying to get some form of standing, of worth within his kingdom. Which those things, it's like they believe they can, there's something for them there. But what's the reality? You go back to the curses, you're going to realize that's it's a snare, it's a bind, which is going to keep you from, where, salvation actually lies. So I read this, Joshua 23, and start from verse 4. So it says, behold, I have divided unto you by lot these nations that remain to be an inheritance for your tribes from Jordan, with all the nations that I have cut off, even unto the great sea westward. And the Lord Jehovah your power, he shall expel them from before you, and drive them out of your sight, and ye shall possess their land, as the Lord Jehovah your power hath promised unto you. Be ye therefore very courageous to keep and to do all that is written in the book of the law of Moses. So here it's laying out again, because this is after, conquest was done for the land. And then you had, the inheritances of the different tribes being established. But then it says be ye therefore very courageous to keep and to do all that is written in the book of the law of Moses, that you turn not aside therefrom to the right hand or to the left. So it's about that was the first covenant, keeping the laws. And even now, whilst we're under grace, That doesn't then mean obviously we're just gonna go out, and commit acts of murder or adultery or any of the other laws. We're obviously not here to go out and break the laws. Because like it says, Matthew 5, a jot or a tittle shall in no wise pass to all be fulfilled. So the law still stands presently. It says what? That you turn not aside therefrom to the right hand or to the left, that you come not among these nations, these that remain among you, neither make mention of the name of their gods, nor cause to swear by them, neither serve them, nor bow yourselves unto them, but cleave unto the Lord Yahweh your power, as ye have done unto this day. Yeah, so it says what? That you come not among these nations that remain. So, even then, as they conquered land, there was what? There was a residue of the nations left. And then what? The commandment, the instruction was, not to make mention of the name of their gods, cause to swear or serve them, but cleave unto the Lord Yahweh your power, as ye have done unto this day. For the Lord Yahweh have driven out from before you great nations and strong, but as for you, no man hath been able to stand before you unto this day. Yeah, so that was one of the blessings. One will put 1,000 to flight, I believe it was, and 10 or 110,000. I think one put 100 fight and 110,000. I believe is the word in Deuteronomy 28. But then what? It was that's basically our strength. That's the cornerstone of where, we get that capability from. And then this as well, Exodus 20:3, it says, Thou shalt have no other powers before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord Yahweh thy power, am a jealous power, visiting you. So yeah, the Lord Yahweh said he was a jealous power. And that's the cornerstone of why we're not meant to go and serve other gods, which, that again, it was a curse that was going to happen in the end. But then again, it's the reason why is because we're basically we've been specially chosen. We're that nation that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is dealing with, and then part of that service means we're only serving Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. We're not serving any other gods. But then what? Visiting the iniquity of the fathers onto the children, so upon the children onto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. So yeah, visiting that iniquity upon them, because what? There's essentially those judgments that take place. It will be some might happen in in your lifetime. If it doesn't, then it will catch you when you come back in the third and fourth generation, as your grandchildren, as your great grandchildren. Basically, you come back in the cycle that as reincarnation in the scriptures. But the key thing is that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Hashem Harakah Kadash is a jealous power. So that kind of sets a pretense for a relationship. Just how a man will have jealousy for his woman. A man will have a wife. Might have kids with a wife. If he come and find her, playing the harlot, then as it says, jealousy is the rage of a man. It's the same thing with with Israel. Israel's like the woman of the Most High. So as far as for us, we have to be essentially have one eye and only serve Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You can't be going all these other different nations and their gods are like going and playing the harlot. So it's the same Malachi 3:6. For I am the Lord Yahweh, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. And yeah, that's as far as, because the promise has been made with Israel, and the Lord said he doesn't change, that relationship being, that confirmation, there's Israel that's going to receive those promises. That's not changed, and that's the only reason, you know, we're not done out. Because as far as, you know, with the covenant that was made, we're incapable of keeping it. But then what those, you know, Yahweh Shai came on the scene, and through, you know, being an intermediary, was able to then bring Israel back, and then bring, you know, a path, a route to salvation. And that's what, and it's because what, you know, the promise was made. And Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Hashem Kadash, you know, ain't gonna have it where that doesn't get fulfilled. And then this as well, Proverbs 5:15, it says, drink waters out of thine own cistern, and running waters out of thine own well. And yeah, as far as, you know, what we're meant to go to, you know, our own nation, you know, for leadership, for guidance. We're not meant to set up, you know, a heathen over us. We're not meant to be following after the ways of the heathen. And that's something that, you know, has taken place previously, you know, a multitude of times. There's, you know, you can just go to the book of Judges. Judges lays it out, where you have time and again, where you'll have someone set up, someone righteous, ruling and leading Israel and guiding them correctly. Then, you know, they'll pass, and then you'll have Israel lapse into following after and falling after, you know, the gods of the nations round about. And then what would happen? Judgment will come. The Lord will be, okay, you love them. Now they have power over you. And then what happens? You know, they'll be in bondage, and they'll cry. They'll remember their power. They'll be like, you know what? No, you need to save us out of this, please. And then pray to Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, Hashem Kadash, to get saved out of it. And then what? Another judge will get raised up. But then it's through the process of this back and forth, Israel going off and off and off, when what? It was, you know, that got brought to an end. And it was like, yeah, I'm not going to deal with these guys. I'm going to hide my face from them. And then there was a need to mend the relationship. So what does it say? Jeremiah 23 and 1, it says, woe unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord Yahweh. Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, power of Israel, against the pastors that feed my sheep. You have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Lord Yahweh. So yeah, those what, you know, you've got those pastors where they've been set up, what, to scatter the sheep. And that's been, you know, been gone down amongst Israel. You've always had those among Israel that have gone out and have, you know, desired, whether they do it, they might do it in private, they'll do it in public, and then serving other gods. They might have an altar to, you know, some heathen god. They might be observing, you know, some heathen practices for some heathen god. Even when conquering, conquering the land in Joshua, when you had the Babylonish garment, man. They were told to go and you know, not take anything, because why? All the goods. It's the same thing with now in the modern day. All these different forms of like garments and food and all different layers of like goods you get in this world now. They're all tied to all different forms of wickedness, all different forms of confusion. And that's the same thing where it was with, you know, what the heathen had set up, where they had established at that point, was complete confusion. We couldn't, you know, have righteousness and then inherit any of that shit. All that needs to be put to an end, and then a cleansing needs to be done. Same thing that needs to be done to the land of Israel today, where cleansing is needed. But it said what the Thus saith the power, thus saith Yahweh, power of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people. You have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Lord Yahweh. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all the countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. And yeah, as far that's you know, you've got those pastors where they've just invited confusion. You can go to First Maccabees. That's it's you know, as one example. Like I said again, you can go to Judges for examples. Even in Exodus, man, they set up what? Yeah, those Israelites were what? They'll you know, thinking, oh, you brought us out into the wilderness to die. You know, Egypt was good, and then man wanted the golden calf back. It's been, you know, from the beginning, you've had those wicked men among Israel that have desired, you know, the heathen to rule over them, desired the gods of the heathen. So First Maccabees 1, start from 10. So it says, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been an hostage at Rome, and he reigned in 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. So Antiochus the fourth, Epiphanes. It says, well, in those days when there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. So what does it say? In those days there went out of Israel wicked men. So the Israelites were the what? They desired to join themselves unto the heathen. They wanted to fuck with the heathen. They wanted to be at one with the heathen. And that's the same thing you have today. You have those same, you know, I mentioned those wicked pastors. You got that big component of that joined onto Esau, onto Esau's realm, is that Christianity, man. That's the same Christianity was used, you know, weaponized and utilized to conquer Jake, you know, over the Northern Kingdom in the Americas, used to conquer, you know, and enslave Jake that was on the West Coast. It's basically being set up. It's like a slow acting poison, because it's that's why you have, it was known during captivity that what, Jake wasn't allowed to read the scriptures. Because as far as for Jake, it's like they know when, you know, you get into the scriptures, then it's gonna start being a bit too plain, you know, who that applies to, who that's talking about. But then they would utilize, you know, that form of Christianity as that tool that was weaponized, you know, to basically, you know, break down Jake and keep them in that destroyed state, to the point where it's so powerful, it's been sustained to this day. That demon, you know, attached to that Christianity is so strong that it's endured to this time, man. And why? Because it's part of those curses, man. Where it would be what, you know, you'd go to a land where, you know, you wouldn't even know, you wouldn't even know the tongue, and then you serve other gods, man, wood and stone. And that's like even what do you call it? Northern Kingdom. You go to, what is it, Rio de Janeiro, I believe, and they got that huge Caesar just on the cliffside, just hanging over. These men are completely destroyed and decimated by that demon, but you know, that's the role it plays. And then, you know, as far as for Israel, you know, they love to have it so. Was it in those days when out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we've had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. So yeah, they were just thinking like, yo, we just need to deal with these heathen, man. That's the only way we can make it. That's you know, why are we you know, making this so hard on us? So we can just, you know, be at one with the heathen. And that's a mindset that's not new. Amongst Israel, it's one of the oldest mindsets they've had, where they just think like, yo, nah, let me just deal with the heathen, man. Just, you know, marry among their daughters, give your daughters to their sons, and then just be at one. You know, just worship whatever they're worshiping. You know, wear the garments they're wearing. You know, carve up your hairline if they're carving up their hairline or whatever, and then just follow after them. It says, then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Yeah, so you got license, they got co-signed to serve and observe all the madness of the heathen, man, to serve their pagan deities. And that's the same thing now. That's the 501 in America that manifests as a 501c3. I can't remember, there's an equivalent in the UK, the tax exemption in the UK. Let's see. What's it called? I don't think there's a particular term, but there's tax exemption for churches in the UK. It's the same setup where you register as a church. You have to be part of an order of churches to get exempted. Or you can register as a charity incorporated organization. Yeah, so depending on the denomination, and then there's obviously going to be you being part of those denominations or organizations as well, which are going to be linked up to the state. So then what you teach, what word what you put out there is going to be tied to it, and that's really how these things run. It's if you want the tax exemption, if you want that categorization within what do you call it, that categorization within the government to get exempted taxes, you're gonna have to teach certain things. You're not gonna be allowed to say and do certain things. Because like with the alphabet crew, the LGBT issues, those things have become a thing where it's like if you're teaching that what the scriptures say, then you're going to be booted from this. That's become a whole thing, especially in like Church of England is like the key one over here, where that was being addressed, and then it was like a few years back, like maybe even like 10 years back now, they were pushing against it, saying like, look, you need to be able to let people be from LGBT and up in there doing still teaching, which is complete confusion. License to, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. So yeah, they completely immerse themselves within the lifestyle and the customs of the heathen. They adorn themselves as the heathen. They said they even made themselves uncircumcised. Man will put in their putting what's it called, foreskin back on their rods, man. It was complete madness, complete confusion, and that's that's not something new. Jeremiah 5, something 30 says, what a wonderful and a horrible thing is committed in the land. The prophets prophesy falsely, and the priests bear rule by their means, and my people love to have it so. And what will you do in the end thereof? Yeah. The prophets prophesy falsely, and the priests bear rule by their means. And Jake loves it. That's something that's not new. As far as for Jake with, these wicked forms of judgment over them, they love to have it so. A lot of Jake desires to just have someone wicked over them. They'll enable and co-sign their own wickedness. That's been a huge aspect of Jake. But then how are these things gonna shake out? How are they gonna manifest? Destruction, man. What will you do in the end thereof? Be destroyed. But back in Jeremiah 23, so Jeremiah 23 and 4, and it says, and I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Lord Yahweh. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. And yeah, we're waiting for the return of Yahushua to basically come and see that fulfilled. Because as far as for now, there's no righteous judgment found in and among this place. And it won't be found until Yahushua returns. It won't be found other than amongst the brotherhood, amongst the truth, that going out. But then that being executed upon the earth, we're waiting basically upon Yahushua, waiting upon that day. So let's say Matthew 6 and 24, it says, "Now no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve the Most High and Mammon." And yeah, as far as dealing with Israel, that's we've basically had we're called for, we're spoken for, as far as who we're meant to serve. We've basically been before you were born, it was already set up the what that covenant was made with Israel, and as such, from birth you're already tied into it. That's part of coming through the line. Coming through the line means you're beholden to this, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. That's a given. As such, you basically you can't even dream of serving someone else, because that's really the thing with this current society. It's basically requiring for you to excel, to to further yourself within this place. Then what you've basically got it's requiring a certain cost. But then it's the same thing for this word, man, for this truth, for you to come to basically be covered by the blood of Yahushua, for you to to be exempted from your sins on this side. It requires you to there's certain things required of you. That means that you can't engage with the world. You try and engage with both, you can only hold to one. And that's a big aspect of where you have. That's why it's like the whole form of religion, the church, Christianity, these things as they function within this realm, they're all completely aspects of Esau's system, Esau's kingdom, man. The head of them, the Roman Catholic Church, that's completely an agent, a tool for the elites. It basically pushes a whole agenda, a whole mindset, a whole spirit upon the people, which is why it's like these guys are meant to be representing the scriptures. The scriptures are there, and it plainly tells you about when you go to things like the LGBT and whatnot, gay marriage, these things. The scriptures are plain on how it's completely off. But then as far as with them, they're pushing the whole agenda where it's like, now God loves them, now God co-signs all that, which means but that's really just the agenda of the world. That's the agenda of Esau's kingdom, Esau's system, and that's really what's been pushed. So 1 Kings 22 and 19. Because even with, those that are doing the job of being those lying prophets, that's something that's not outside the bounds of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. It's not. That's something that basically has been set up. Because like I said, it's prophesied in the end time, in the time of the end, where Jake will be scattered and then worshipping other gods, man. And then you'll have, these wicked false prophets. You'll have lies persisting throughout the world. But then you also have the truth. And that's the truth. It's jobs to destroy those lies and expose them for what they are. Expose them to the light. But then what that spirit of lying being pushed out there, and the Most High set it up. 1 Kings 22:19, and he said, "Hear thou therefore the word of the Lord Yahweh. I saw the Lord Yahweh sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing by him, on his right hand and on his left. And the Lord Yahweh said, Who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord Yahweh, and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord Yahweh said unto him, Wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all these prophets. So yeah, there was an angel. This when what it say? All the hosts of heaven came. The angels came. The demons came, which is the angels on the left hand side. They all came in order. Same thing as you go to Job, chapter 2, where you had all the sons of the Most High come, all the angels come, and then they're given missions, given orders. Orders. And what does it say? It says, the Lord said unto him, Wherewith? He said, I will go forth, and I'll be a lying spirit in the mouth of his prophets. And he said, Thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so. So yeah, his job was set as going forth to be a lion spirit, and then it was to succeed, to be to go forth, be that lion spirit, persuade them, and prevail. It says, Now therefore behold, the Lord Yahweh hath put a lion spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, and the Lord Yahweh have spoken evil concerning thee. Yeah. They'll basically had that lion spirit put on them, which is the same thing you got today. You got various people. Some know they're Israelites, some don't. A lot of people have watched the videos, or watched the apostles, they've seen GMS out, they've seen the truth, and then they'll just cast it behind them and be like, nah, that ain't it. But then what? That lion spirit's been put on them. Their job's to go out there and to deceive, and to catch people out there and throw them completely off. Which they'll prevail to do. That's a job as well, because there's certain men where it's they're appointed to not get this truth. Their job is to not receive the truth. Their job is to never understand it, for it to completely confound them, for it to forever be a stumbling block, so they can be destroyed in the end. There's somewhere it's like they might, endure for a minute and then be cast out. There's somewhere it's like they're set up, they might see it and then just latch onto it like a demon and then resist it onto the end. There's various, spirits put on these various men. And hey, it's just like how, example of someone being in favor and not is Saul. Because he had that spirit on him, but then what? It got taken off. And then the evil spirit got put on him. But yeah, Jeremiah 14:15 says, Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning the prophets to prophesy in my name, and I sent them not, yet they say, Sword and famine shall not be in this land. By sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed. So yeah, they're those where they basically put lies in, where they said, yeah, it's gonna be peace and love. Because that's the same thing you have now, that prosperity doctrine, where it's like, oh, you want that car, you gonna have that car. You want that job, you gonna get that job. They're prophesying like, oh, just going to whole congregations saying like, yeah, manifest, just dash your dollars in the offering tray, then you're going to manifest whatever it is, whatever blessing you want. You want to get blessed up, you want your body to get healed, you want this, and it's complete confusion. These guys are lying. They ain't got those capabilities. All these men can do is amass cash money for themselves, because that's their job, man. They're under mammon. They're under that spirit of mammon. That's why they don't go into the scriptures. That's just like a display, man. And it's the same thing, like I said, it's read earlier. My people love to have it so. Verse 16, and the people to whom they prophesy shall be cast out in the streets of Jerusalem because of the famine and the sword, and they shall have none to bury them, their wives, nor their sons, nor their daughters, for I will pour their wickedness upon them. Yeah? Those that are, holding fast to those false prophets, they're going to, they're going to be judged alongside them. And that's the same thing now. Now we're in a time where it's a big key one is that MOTB. What prophecy of the MOTB? That's something that it's like, what is that? You try and say, like, get a guy to point that out. You have some of the Christians where they know, but then it's like, even amongst these Israelite groups, you got guys where it's all of a sudden they don't they ain't got the correct breakdown for that. Even though you have like Christians in the world that have the correct breakdown for the MOTB. That's the microchip, the implantable microchip. But again, they've had that lying spirit put on them. What, to a very particular end. Job 12:16. With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. Yeah, the Most High is basically dealing with the deceived and the deceiver. It's like I read that there was a council amongst the angels where as well. There was a job to do. And then what he's basically giving those prophets, those false prophets were given over to the hands of those angels to what? To make them lying prophets, false prophets. Finish on this. John 10:11. Actually, John 10:10. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. But he that is an hireling, and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep. So yeah, as far as for Yahushua, who said what? I am the good shepherd. It was basically about watching for the sheep. But then you have what? A hireling. And that's what a lot of these people that claim to be prophets, claim to teach the truth, then what? They're a hireling. They're there for the cash money. They're there for the reward, the monetary compensation. That's what they're meditating on. That's what they're thinking about. But it says, but he that is a hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming and leaveth the sheep. And yeah, they're those where it's like they see, oh, and then they're just thinking, well, fuck it. I ain't watching for them. They might either just be like, okay, keep, filling their own pockets off it, or just be like, scarper. And the wolf catcheth the wolf catcheth them and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth because he is a hireling and careth not for the sheep. He don't care about the people's demise upon and careth not for the sheep. They don't care about people's demise, because they've basically broken down the prophecy wrong. They've steered them away from from the truth, from righteousness. These are things they don't care. You got men out here co-signing, breaking the laws, co-signing, do all form of madness on the Shabbat, co-signing, taking the juicy juice, and then what? They're essentially because they're not teaching what the MOTB is. They're essentially co-signing that as well. But then verse 14, I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. As a father knoweth me, even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. That's Yahushua. That was, literally done. the life was Yahushua's life was laid down for the sheep, for really the elect, and then for the rest of Israel through the elect, to what, to have a means, a chance at salvation, essentially. And then this, is applicable to us as well. John 21:16, he saith to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Yahushua saith unto him, Feed my sheep. And yeah, feeding the sheep. That's essentially. That's necessary. That's a key part of basically, being that shepherd. And that's key. And that's why it's like you have that difference where it's if someone's breaking the prophecies down wrong, breaking the scriptures down wrong, not completely confusion, confounding the sheep, they're not in the spirit. Yahushua is not dealing with it. So Matthew 7:21, it says, Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Yeah, so it's doing the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Hashem HaKadosh. That's the key to to salvation. Because what does it say? Many will say unto me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. So yeah, they're going to be those where they think they're in good standing, they're in good stead with the Lord. But then what? They're basically, it's going to be revealed they don't even know the Most High. And that's something you have, in the current time, where it's even with Matthew 24, what does it say? There'll be many, false Christ, let's say, shall arise. You've got people wandering after complete, illusions, incomplete, forms, where they don't know what they worship. But we know what we worship for salvation is of the Jews, as it says. And that's the real. A lot of people don't know what they worship. A lot of people are basically following after, what doesn't line up with the scriptures at all. And it comes down to the spirit. It has to be revealed to you, man. To see what the truth is. Yeah, it's going to be, many where it's going to be what? Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Yahushua doesn't know them. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Say shalom. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Shab. Shem Rakah Kadash Bakatah. Shalom.